artificial intelligence. It's not just a buzzword anymore. By 2025, AI could be as essential to our work as email is today. But are we ready for this seismic shift?
Wow, that's a bold claim. What makes you say AI will be that crucial in just a couple of years?
Well, according to insights from the Northern Australia Sustainability Centre and DigitalDarwin, 2025 is set to be a game changer. We're not just talking about another tech trend. This is a fundamental shift in how we work. The key difference is the introduction of AI agents into our everyday work lives.
AI agents? That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. Are we talking about robots roaming around the office?
Not quite. These AI agents are more like super smart digital assistants that live in our computers and phones. Think of them as new team members, but ones that exist in the digital realm. And here's the kicker. By this time next year, knowing how to work with these AI tools could be as crucial as knowing how to use email or Excel.
That's quite a claim. Do you really think it's going to be that important?
According to our source, absolutely. Businesses that are getting ahead are the ones making sure their employees are comfortable using these tools. It's not about replacing people, it's about augmenting our abilities and making our jobs easier and more productive.
I can see how that could be beneficial, but I'm sure there are challenges too. What are the main things we need to focus on as we prepare for this AI-driven future?
Great question. The report outlines 5 key areas we need to pay attention to. The first one is simply getting ready for these AI agents. It's kind of like when smartphones first came out. Remember how complicated they seemed at first, but now we can't imagine life without them. The same thing is happening with AI.
Oh, I definitely remember that. I thought, why would I need the internet on my phone? And now I panic if I leave home without it.
Exactly. The second focus area is protecting our businesses. This is especially crucial in places like Northern Australia, where connectivity can be an issue. We need to ensure our systems are secure, our data is protected, and we can keep working even if the internet drops out or systems go down.
That makes sense. It's like having a backup generator during storm season, isn't it?
That's a perfect analogy. The third area is training. Everyone needs to understand how to use these new tools safely and effectively. It's not about becoming a tech expert overnight, but rather learning the basics and building up from there.
So if we're talking about training, what kind of skills do you think will be most important in this AI-driven workplace?
Well, it's less about specific technical skills and more about adaptability and critical thinking. The ability to work alongside AI, interpret its outputs, and make strategic decisions based on those insights will be crucial. Also, skills that are uniquely human, like creativity, emotional intelligence, and complex problem solving, will become even more valuable.
That's reassuring. I think a lot of people hear AI and immediately think it's going to be too complicated for them to understand.
Absolutely, and that's why the emphasis on training and building trust is so important. The fourth area is about spending money wisely. The advice is to start small, focus on what actually helps us do our jobs better, and build from there. There's no point in splashing cash on fancy systems we don't need.
That's refreshing to hear. Sometimes it feels like businesses jump on every new tech trend without really considering if it's necessary or beneficial.
You're spot on, and that leads us to the fifth and final focus area, building trust. This involves being open about how we're using AI, following the rules, and making sure everyone understands what's happening and why. It's crucial because a lot of the fear around AI comes from not understanding it or feeling like it's being implemented without our input or consent.
So what you're saying is, it's not just about the technology itself, but how we introduce and implement it.
Exactly. The key takeaway here is that 2025 is going to be a year of big changes in how we work. But the good news is we don't have to do everything at once. It's about taking it step by step, making sure everyone's comfortable, and focusing on what actually helps us do our jobs better.
It's like planning for the wet season, isn't it? You don't wait until the rain starts to get ready.
That's a perfect analogy, and it really drives home the point that the businesses that prepare now are going to have a much easier time than those that wait and try to catch up later. It's all about being proactive rather than reactive.
Well, I'm curious about something. How do you think this will play out in different industries?
That's a great question. The impact will vary depending on the industry and the specific roles within each industry. For example, in customer service, AI might handle routine inquiries, allowing human agents to focus on more complex issues that require empathy and nuanced understanding. In healthcare, AI could assist with diagnostics, giving doctors more time to focus on patient care.
So it's not about AI taking over entire jobs, but rather changing how we do certain aspects of our jobs?
Precisely. And that's why it's so important for businesses to start preparing now. It's not just about implementing the technology, but about rethinking workflows and job roles to make the best use of both AI capabilities and human skills. It's about augmenting our abilities, not replacing them.
I like that idea. So instead of seeing AI as a threat, we could see it as a tool that allows us to be more human in our work?
Exactly. Think about how calculators changed math class. They didn't eliminate the need for mathematical thinking. They just took care of the tedious calculations so we could focus on understanding and applying mathematical concepts. AI has the potential to do the same thing for many aspects of our work.
That's a great analogy. But what about workers who are worried about their jobs becoming obsolete?
That's a valid concern, and it's something that needs to be addressed head-on. The key is to focus on upskilling and reskilling. As certain tasks become automated, new roles will emerge. The workers who are willing to learn and adapt will be best positioned to thrive in this new AI-augmented workplace.
So it's really about embracing lifelong learning and being open to change?
Absolutely. And that's not just good advice for dealing with AI, it's a valuable approach to work and life in general. The world is constantly changing, and the ability to adapt and learn new skills is becoming increasingly important.
You know, the more we talk about this, the more excited I'm getting about the possibilities. It's like we're on the cusp of a new era in how we work.
I feel the same way, and I think that's the attitude we need to approach this with. Yes, there will be challenges and uncertainties, but there's also incredible potential for innovation and improvement. It's about seeing the opportunities rather than just the threats.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired to start learning more about AI and how it might impact my work. Any suggestions on where our listeners might start if they're feeling the same way?
That's a great question. I'd suggest just start getting useful. Just using your phone and finding and asking ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini any questions. And of course, go into YouTube and find some channels that guide you in a way that works for you. Digital Darwin has YouTube and Spotify channels, and of course our listeners can contact Digital Darwin directly to talk through how they and their organisation can get benefits from AI in 2025.
Those sound like great starting points. Any specific topics you think people should focus on first?
I'd recommend starting with the basics of what AI is and how it works. Understanding the fundamental concepts like machine learning, neural networks, and natural language processing can help demystify AI. From there, you could look into how AI is being applied in different industries. That might give you some ideas about how it could impact your specific field.
That makes sense. And what about at work? Should people be proactive in asking about AI implementation?
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to ask questions at work about how your company is preparing for this AI future. The more engaged we all are in this process, the smoother the transition will be. You could ask about any planned AI initiatives, or even suggest forming a working group to explore how AI could benefit your department.
Well, listeners, it looks like we're all going to be on an exciting journey over the next few years as AI becomes a bigger part of our work lives. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I think the most important thing to remember is that AI is a tool, not a replacement for human intelligence and creativity. As we move into this new era, let's focus on how we can use AI to enhance our work, free up our time for more meaningful tasks, and ultimately create more value in our jobs and businesses. And let's not forget the 5 key areas we discussed. Prepare now, focus on security, invest in training, spend wisely, and build trust. With these principles in mind, we can all look forward to a future where AI helps us be more productive, creative, and fulfilled in our work.
Thanks for those insightful final thoughts. And thank you, listeners, for joining us for this fascinating discussion about the future of work and AI.
Until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and embrace the future of work.